Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Inside Track, Equibase's weekly handicapping podcast, where we give our analysis, picks, and wagers for a couple of the weekend's top races. I'm your host, Ben Kudla, and I'm thrilled to welcome for the first time on the show Scott Cole, as a 2019 NHC champion and Eclipse Award winner for the Horse Player of the Year at the age of 34. At the time, Scott became the youngest winner in the history of the NHC, and he won as a rookie. So thanks so much for being here today for some incredible races at Parx. And I've loved hearing you on our past Equibase Triple Crown podcast and Breeders' Cup podcast. You bring so much knowledge to the table. So I'm stoked to do some handicapping with you.
Yeah, I look forward to it. It's great to be here. Don't get as much time to play anymore, so anytime I get an opportunity to dive in, it's fun. It puts me back in the game, keeps me sharp. So I love doing stuff like this.
Yeah, and it's cool with maybe type B tracks like Parx, having huge days like this,
Mhm.
almost in the Charlestown type arena. So, but in today's show, it's all Parx. So Scott and I are giving our picks for the Grade 1 Pennsylvania Derby, the Grade 1 Cotillion, and the Grade 2 Gallant Bob Stakes. But before we begin, the race to the NHC, it's a series of free handicapping contests for active Raceland subscribers, which gives 2 seats to NHC 2026 and continues this Saturday on horseplayers.com. Top 2 finishers in each weekly feeder contest will make it to the Raceland's Final 50 contest in February. The top 2 finishers in the Raceland's Final 50 will earn a seat to NHC 2026, as well as a travel voucher and a 4-night stay at Horseshoe Casino. So we have Mr. NHC himself. Figured it's a good time. So get more details right there at equibase.com/NHC. But let's get to some handicapping. Let's start off with the 400,000 Grade 2 Gallant Bob Stakes, the 12th race on Saturday's stacked card. 6 furlongs on the dirt for 3-year-olds. Last year's winner was Ben Tornado for trainer Jose Francisco D'Angelo. The Irad Ortiz Jr. aboard. Ben Tornado went on to run second in the Breeders' Cup Sprint and took a long layoff and came back last weekend to win Louisville Thoroughbred Society Stakes, earning a career best 117. Base speed figures. So got a field of 10 here on Saturday with a 3.2 million yearling purchase. Barnes is your 2-1 morning line favorite. Scott, what's your thoughts on him in here?
Yeah, I like Barnes quite a bit. I didn't want to get too cute in this race. I mean, if Barnes or maybe Neo Equus doesn't win this race, then man, you could see something crazy and you'll see some crazy payouts. So if you're looking to get paid and you're just hoping something happens, then it's probably a really good race to spread out. But for me, it's probably going to be a single. I know it's only Wednesday. I have time to change my mind. But for me right now, second off the layoff, sprinting, I mean, they tried, they tried some route racing and stuff, but it just seems like the one-turn stuff is perfect for this horse. Gets away from the Grade 1 company, ran a career best, figure. Seems to be everywhere I check between time form, race lens. Everybody has Barnes with the best late pace. There's plenty of people who want the lead in this race. I just think everything sets up nicely. Plus the main competition draw all the way outside to the 10. Not my favorite draw for Neo Equus, but still, if I had to use another, I'd use Neo Equus. But for now, I'm just gonna single Barnes. I think the setup will be great. I think the horse is fresh. I think the horse is working well. The only thing that gives me pause is that, I mean, I'm just looking at times for this. I haven't watched the work. Normally, I would get workout reports, but they're harder to get when races are at Parx. So like usually my coastal reports that I can get easily on like one of the websites, it's tougher to get them when they're at Parx. But assuming the horse is doing well, and nothing tells me otherwise leading up to the race or no reports come out about it, I'll probably just be singling the number 5 Barnes, just because the horse can lay close, the horse can lay back. I just love versatile horses. I trust Baffert. I trust everything about it, and I love that the horse has the best late pace to get him out of any situation he needs to. So that's where I landed.
Wholeheartedly agree. I did see him on Twitter, Barnes. He was at Parx walking with Jimmy Barnes, so he's looking pretty good out there. And yeah, it's going to be tough to beat Barnes. And Tyler Gaffalione with the mount, which is pretty interesting.
Yeah,
Baffert and they only have 2 career starts together, which was closing weekend at this Del Mar meet. So kind of interesting. Gaffalione's up.
very much so. Where's Christina Blacker when you need her for the information as to what's going on there? But, that's
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, what conversations were had at the beginning of September out there?
I don't have access to that kind of stuff, so that's where I get behind on people when when stuff like that happens, and I don't know why. But Yeah, no.
Well, and then also Baffert, all time at Parks, he's winning at 42%, 5 wins from 12 career starts. So you got that in there as well. Yeah, Barnes will be tough to beat, but I will try to beat him with Neo Equus. You mentioned that tough outside post, but ran 13th on this year's Kentucky Derby. But honestly, I thought he looked great at the third point of call in the Derby. I think this horse has always been a true sprinter. He did run third in the Grade 2 Fountain of Youth of Sovereignty, going a mile 16th, and also ran third in the Grade 1 Florida Derby, going a mile and eighth. And then after that bit in the Derby, he had a very tough go of it in the Grade 1 Woody Stevens, finishing ninth by 6.5. But he did bounce back a month later, won the Jersey Shore Stakes at Monmouth by 3 3/4 as preferred 6 furlong distance. He also beat Donut God the 6 in there and the Fire Pit the 8 in that race. And last time out, he runs in that 500,000 Robert Hilton Memorial Stakes in Charlestown's big night on the August 22nd. Definitely decisive second by 2.5 lengths, but I thought he's up there with a fast pace for most of it, so settled for second, going 7 furlongs. But love the furlong cutback. He's got 2 wins and a second at the 6 furlong distance. Ranked first in early and middle pace, late pace, or middle pace rating, excuse me, and nice 4 furlong bullet. Or not bullet in 48.44 at Saratoga September 14th. But Staff and IRAD, they're winning at 27% in all dirt sprints over the last couple of years, 17 wins from 63 starts. I'm going to guess Barnes will take a huge chunk of money, maybe even be 1-1. So
Yeah.
hoping for 5-2, but I don't know. Also, that being said, though, Staffy's just 1 for 15 at Parks over the last 3 years. So it's definitely deterring. Um, but I think I'll still try to beat Barnes in here. I read pretty much at the top of his game. I thought this Madhouse was pretty interesting too. A Vacoma gelding, the only gelding in the group for the David Van Winkle barn. Paco Lopez first time riding. Meet leader, he's winning at 24%, 347 mounts at Parks this meet. He had an amazing meet at Saratoga too. I don't think anyone's really been talking about that, but he only had 7 mounts and had like 4 wins. So I mean, he can win these big races.
Oh, for sure.
This horse, yeah. I mean, and this horse, he started at Tampa Bay, um, and just didn't really go. He went 0 for 4, and he goes to Canterbury, tries the turf, does not take it to it, and then he just kind of becomes a different horse. Really interesting. Breaks his maiden in his sixth start by 11.5 lengths, running a 110 Echo Base speed figure, going 5.5 furlongs in the dirt at Canterbury in June. He stays in Minnesota, comes back to an allowance race on a muddy 6 furlong track, about 2.5 lengths, earning a 96. And last time out, he wins an allowance optional claimer by 8 1/4 lengths, going 6 furlongs in 109.6 and earns a 105 Echo Base speed figure. He's also tied with Barnes for a late pace rating of a 111.5. So, maybe that is the hidden value in this race is a 7 to try to pair him up. But I don't know. I think it's between Barnes and Neocos, kind of a 2 horse race. I kind of see it playing out.
Yeah, and it'll just be interesting to see the price, like you said, on Barnes. I mean, would 4 to 5 shock me? 3 to 5, no. I mean, I just
Yeah.
don't. It's like hard to say how much money is exactly going to come in, but I mean, it just seems like a lot, and seems like 2 to 1 is nowhere close to what it's actually going to be. So that's the biggest pause I have is trying to. I can't really use another horse if it goes too low because I kind of just depletes all my value in like the horizontal wagers if I don't
Right.
single Barnes if that's what I want. So, but if you're playing against, it's also a great opportunity because there's gonna be so much money in the pool on Barnes. So
Right. But then if Neo Equus comes in and he is 5-2, maybe 3-1. I mean, that's not the greatest either if you're having a spread for that. So,
yeah,
well,
that's true.
I'm assuming though Barnes will be taking a lot more money than goal oriented of the two Baffords on Saturday.
I think so as well, just because that's just a much tougher race that goal oriented's in. So
Yeah, against Baeza versus Neo Equus. But anyway, let's just move on to the 1 million Grade 1 Cotillion Stakes, race 13 on Saturday's card. A mile and 16th on the dirt for 3-year-old fillies. Notable winners, Havert de Grace in 2010, setting the track and stakes record, still holds today in 140.93. Close Hatches 2013, Untappable 2014, I'm a Chatterbox 2015, Songbird 2016, Midnight Bassoon in 2018. Last year's winner was the Grizzly, Torpedo Anna, before going on to win the Breeders' Cup Distaff in her next start last year. So field of 8 with the Grade 1 Acorn Stakes rematch of Scottish Lassie, Lacara, and Good Cheer. But how do you see this race unfolding?
so I mean, I'm a little biased. I'm a big Lucara fan, but Lucara is also just it, she's just such a frustrating horse. But she seems to be kind of like what Fierceness did at the beginning of last year, where she would win every other race, and every race in between, it would be like, what happened? So, and
Yeah.
we're on the right side of that pattern right now, which I like. Got the bad one out of the way. Possibly the distance was too far. Nitrogen also just freaked that day. I think Lucara makes the lead, and that's what she wants to do. Um, I'm usually not a huge Mark Casse fan either, but I kind of played around with that, and Mark Casse's done quite well in Grade One dirt races over the last year or two. So if you kind of want to dive in there, but shockingly good, crazy ROI. This year, I think a 36% wins out of 11
Oh,
starts,
wow.
141% ROI. I mean, it's had some
Yeah,
has,
some big poppers.
has nitrogen, has Lucara, has Sandman. So just that's where I think most of your great races are coming from. But just it's kind of gone under the radar with how well Mark Cassie's doing in Grade One dirt races this year, where I don't consider him to be a dominant Grade One dirt trainer. So you some hidden value. I mean, Lucara is usually value in the races because she's been going up against a bunch of monsters. So, but she's tough when she makes the lead. Um, won't be singling. I think Good Cheer, I believe, is 5 for 5 at this distance.
She is, yeah.
Yeah, so getting back seemingly what she wants to do. The only thing that gives me pause about Good Cheer is, I mean, I feel like she's just never run that figure that's like blown me away. She's just very, very consistent.
Yeah.
And is she tailing off? Sometimes with these fillies, they get discouraged a little bit, they lose a couple, and then they tail off, or is she going to bounce back? So, I mean, nothing that's going to give me single confidence, but I think what I want to do, because I'm using Barnes, because I'm using some favorites in the last or of this pick three sequence that we're talking about, I was just trying to beat Scottish Lassie off that big performance, but those figures get a little inflated when you win by that many open lengths. Like there's only so much the figure makers can do in that situation when you win
Yeah.
by that many lengths. They have to give like a bigger. It's like, was it that great? We'll find
Well,
out.
and it was a 4 horse field without Lucara.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
mean,
We'll find out. Is that horse getting really good, or is that just kind of like an outlier figure? But if assuming this plays out and Scottish Lassie is the actual favorite, I don't I don't want Scottish Lassie as a favorite. So I was gonna try to beat her with those two. If you go farther down the list, I don't think Clico's impossible. I don't think Indy Bay is impossible. If you're looking for deep, more value than that. So if I use Scottish Lassie, be defensively, but my two A's are gonna be Lucara and Good Cheer, just because I think those two have been very consistent. Well, Lucara and consistent on the every other pattern, and should make the lead. And I think Good Cheer will be running really fast late if it falls apart. So I feel comfortable using those two.
yeah, I'm the same way. Definitely not comfortable enough to single, but definitely going to use Good Cheer and Lucara. And to go back to your point about that pattern that stems all the way from last September, first in the Pocahontas, fifth in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile
Mhm.
Fillies, first in the Suncoast, second in the Devona Dale, first in the Ashland Stakes, ninth in the Kentucky
Yep.
Oaks, first in the Acorn, fourth in the Alabama. So if she continues this pattern, she's due for a ginormous effort.
Yes,
Ranked
sir.
first in average class in here as well. Nice works at Saratoga over to Oklahoma recently. So yeah, and I think honestly, since she got scratched from that Strangles fiasco or whatever, I'm sure her trading pattern was all disrupted.
Yeah.
She was training up towards a race, and then, oh, I don't have that race. Oh, I'm back breezing again, and going to different. So it probably took out her routine. So second back after that will be huge as well. But I did land on Good Cheer. I thought 5-2 for the Kentucky Oaks winter morning line was pretty fantastic. I mean, just a uber talented filly. Started 7 for 7, winning all 7 of those starts
Mhm.
by combined 44 and a half lengths. I mean, just nuts. 3.5 length win in the Grade Two Fairgrounds Oaks. Won the Kentucky Oaks by 2.25 lengths. Since 1991, 10 Cotillion winners previously ran in the Kentucky Oaks, and just 3 fillies have won both the Oaks and the Cotillion. Those being Ashado, 2004, Untappable, 2014, and Torpedo Anna last year. So she could be number 4. she had a little bit of trouble in her last two starts, like you said. Hopefully, she's not tailing off. Finishing fifth in the Acorn to Lucara and Scottish Lashley, and then last time out finished second behind Nitrogen. But Nitrogen's just a freak.
Yeah, and
Fion's
freaking
really the only ones who's been able to beat her, and that was by a nostril. So I don't mind her losing to Nitrogen too much. I mean, what would Nitrogen be in here?
yeah,
Probably
exactly.
the favorite.
Yeah,
So I'll let that slide. Like you said, 5 for 5 this mile 16th distance, and she has not run back at this distance since the Fairgrounds Oaks. Ranked first in average speed, working well at Saratoga over Oklahoma. And Cox and Saiz winning at 35% in all dirt route races together in the last 3 years. 28 wins from 79 starts, 65% in the money with a positive 17% ROI. And that 105 ESF last out tied Barnes, so it's the highest in the race, and those horses are winning at 33% in dirt graded stakes races with the highest last out equibase speed figures. That applies to Barnes as well, or not Barnes, but Lucara. So another angle. Brad Cox and graded stakes horses owned by Godolphin. Past 5 years, are winning at 36%. 34 wins from 94 starts, 70% in the money. I know everybody knows that, but to put that into numbers, it is crazy. For 5 years, 36% in graded stakes at any angle is pretty nuts. So I'm gonna have to go with Good Cheer, but Lucara, like I said, I'm gonna have to go with her. And Scottish Lassie, yeah, had her in for third, but I think it definitely was that inflated, and people are gonna see that, and she might get some dead money. I know you like to say that term. You know.
yeah, and I mean, we don't know, right? But we also, I mean, I also, if I had, if you made me decide who actually is going to be the favorite right now, I would say Good Cheer will still be the favorite. But
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it's just I'm not great at that, and I just think Scottish Lassie. We'll see how many people pay attention to just one number versus the rest. And I also will say another thing, kind of going in our direction, is that I mean it's not been a great year for Rosario in Grade Ones. He's 7% in 46 starts. It's been kind of a down year for him. Very negative ROI. I mean, I just don't think he's the most riding with the most confidence this year. So obviously dominated last time, but I mean didn't really have a challenge. So we'll see.
It's a horse. I mean, like the only two wins under her belt, and they're both grade ones. Dominating. Nine length win in the grade one for Zet, and 15 and a half in that CCA Oaks. So it's interesting. I mean, she's either first by a lot or first or last.
Yeah, and
She
bounced big time. Last time she did that, bounced big time in the next race, and
yeah.
fell
So
completely apart. So like, I mean, can she string two together? It hasn't proven it yet, and I'm not taking a favorite who has not has a lot of question marks and a jockey that's maybe not riding with his normal confidence this year. So there's a lot of reasons not to take a short price in Scottish Lassie for me.
yeah, no, wholeheartedly agree. Well,
And
there
I
you
don't
go.
think Ann made the lead in that last race, and good luck getting in front of Lucara.
Oh
You
yeah,
have to run really fast if you're going to get in front of Lucara. And I know maybe they'll try because they're on the rail, but I mean, Lucara is right next to her. So like, I just feel like that's just not a great situation there.
yeah, I agree. And we'll see what Clico does. Clico.
Yeah,
I'm assuming probably just pressing, but
I would imagine. Yeah.
we'll see. Anyway, I mean, it's going to be a great rematch between those three. But well, there you go. We kind of decided on Scott's going with Lacar. I'm going with Good Cheer, but we kind of both have those as our
Yeah.
top two. But last but not least, the $1 million Grade One Pennsylvania Derby, race 14 of 15 on Saturday's very lengthy card. It's crazy, 15 races. Mile and an eighth on the dirt for 3-year-olds. Notable winners include To Honor and Serve 2011, We'll Take Charge 2013, Frosted 2015, Connect 2016, Mackenzie 2018, and last year's winner was Dwayne Lucas's final greatest stakes win with Seize the Great with Jaime Torres aboard. Field of 10 without journalism or sovereignty. So there's some intrigue on some value. But who'd you land on for this year's Pennsylvania Derby?
Yeah. For that reason, Baeza finally gets a shot to run without sovereignty and journalism in the race. And, last time that happened, Baeza won. I There's plenty of case to be made for a couple others, but I mean, I'm pretty set that Baeza is a very, very good horse and just ran into an unusual year of there just being two great horses and one like possible super horse. I mean, I was
Yeah.
team journalism, still love journalism, but I mean, it's hard to argue that sovereignty is just not so much better than everyone in this crop right now. And it's nuts like what sovereignty's done. and you don't see it very often. And especially with how dominant Sovereignty and Journalism both were relatively, very rarely are there two great horses. And I think in any other year, Baeza would be one of these winning some of these races. I mean, I just feel like it's just been a very, after, in my opinion, several years of like hard to find anybody that was even, super dominant. I don't know. This has just been the best year, I feel like.
Well, yeah, I mean, what there was a 1,200 days of a Derby winner not winning another race back. Mystic Dan finally broke that.
Yeah.
Blame Stakes, I think that was. But yeah, there really haven't been like this amount of dominant horses.
Yeah, it just
in a
seems like a
little bit.
very, very talented group, for the first time in a while as like a whole. And we'll see what Baeza does when they're not there. I mean, this was like, I feel like this was a smart move to try to get here. So, and I just like Baeza. This is another race that I feel like could have some fast paced. Time Form has it fast right now. I think Race Lens, which I don't always agree with their pace projector, has it, I think, fair right now, but it just depends. There's enough ease in the race and people like drawn, like the 2 the 3 drawn inside, that are probably going to want to go. And Baeza's got, I would say the best late pace on anything you're going to look at. So for me, I love that setup. I love the options. I've never been a fan of, Flavian Pratt being off the horse, but it does, for whatever reason, seems like Barrios is the one who gets the best out of this horse. So they went back to Barrios last time, and within a length, or not within a length of Sovereignty, but like was right
a length.
there.
I mean, yeah, he got second by a length. Yeah, to Sovereignty. I mean, definitely second best by much. I mean, it's even.
It's just it was good to see, and laid closer. So I think has the ability to be put in the race enough where you're not closing from the clouds, and has the best late pace. So just like, I'm always a fan of that setup. When you have the options, you have the best late kick. That's kind of how I feel about Barnes as well. So, and I also really like the direction Gosker's going. I think I talked about it. The reason I liked Gosker as a possibility in the Preakness, if you're looking for something crazy, was because sometimes these younger horses, when you see like Bayer figures or Eclipse figure, whatever speed figures you're looking for, when you see them pair up, you often see a forward move on the next. So like you saw 2 88, 87 Bayer, 87 in the Lexington. And then a lot of times when you see those paired, you can see like if you're going to see a forward move in a 3-year-old, you're going to see him jumped up 10 points and, almost won the Preakness. I mean, Journalism obviously had to overcome some crazy stuff to win that race.
Yeah, that fiasco on the rail.
I wouldn't say Gosker was anywhere near the best horse, but like improved big time, and then improved even a little bit more, and kind of almost paired that figure in the Haskell. So now we had the layoff, and sometimes they'll do that jump again. And if Gosker jumps up in this race again, it could easily be his race, right? I mean, if you see improvement again off that Haskell, again, without Journalism in it, I mean, he gets away from Journalism. They both get away from Journalism Sovereignty. These are the two that I like the most. But Goal Oriented also ran a big race in there too. However, that was like kind of a big jump figure-wise for that horse. I like the way that Gosker is spaced out and moved forward a little bit better, but I mean, it's hard to leave any of them off. Right now, I mean, Baez is my A, just because I think that horse is just got the most class, had the most tests this year, and like kind of, was right there just against a super horse for the last 3. But I mean, they're all 3 super talented in my opinion and can move forward. And then, I mean, it's hard not to mention there's a couple big figures for Magnitude. I don't know what to make for that horse. The big
that horse
figures
confuses me so much.
Yeah, they were open length wins, which also inflate the buyers, kind of like we talked about before, and then comes back, gets headed, and just tired in the Travers after taking a pretty good amount of money. So
yeah,
your guess is good.
3-1 against Sovereignty. Yeah,
your guess is as good as mine, but that's a good amount of money that Magnitude took. So is there something there as well? I mean, it'll be a fun race. There's a lot of talent in this race. Kind of like the best of the rest without the 2 big guys out. So it'll be fun to watch. I'm gonna probably play it as like an A Baeza and B pluses for Gosker, maybe a little bit like a flat B for Goal Oriented, and then maybe if I'm doing well enough and everything's going perfectly, I'll have a little bit of money on Magnitude, but that's just kind of how I see it. But I for sure want to be alive to at least Baeza and a little bit of Gosker.
Yeah, no, fair enough. I mean, we landed on the same too. I mean, it is kind of a shame that how talented Baeza really is and only has a maiden special weight
Yeah,
win. I
it's
mean,
not.
it's just, yeah. So to your point, I mean, I think they were really smart putting him in this spot.
But
Um,
almost made $1 million
yeah,
without
yeah, with
without.
with just a maiden win,
Yeah.
uh, just something else. Yeah, I mean, a lot of things are pointing to Baeza. So definitely on horizontals, I'd add him in. But for I love this as a single. I adore Gosker, and hats off to you for pointing that out far before anyone else before that Preakness. Just I'm saying it. I'm saying it. You
I
said
was
it
on
first.
journalism. I mean, I was on journalism. Don't get me wrong that day, but I just said Gosker was the one that could possibly move up if you're looking for like crazy value. And um,
And here he is continuing. That's an amazing point about those two back-to-back figures and then kind of go up in class. Equway speed figure wise, you're into 108 for his second by a half to journalism, both the grade one Preakness and the grade one Haskell. But it's just an interesting horse. He started his career down in Gulfstream, hitting the gate on career debut, but he still finished second. Second career start, he stretches out to that mile at Gulfstream February, wins by a length and a half, earning a 94 Equibase speed figure. Comes back for the Keeneland April meet, wins the Grade 3 Lexington Stakes by 2 lengths, earning a 96. Narrowly misses that Preakness with a fiasco. And the Haskell, he was just straight up the second best horse. And if you take that alone, how could he not be the best in this?
yeah.
I think he was the second best of that field. So he's a nice, amazing bullet on September 12th, 5 furlongs and 59.6, consistently improving. All time, has 3 wins, 3 seconds, 2/3 from 12 career starts at Parx. So he comes in here to win. Um, Saez and Walsh winning at 27% in all races, 10 wins from 37 starts in the past year. So I think it's just a lot of things are pointing to Oscar. I don't know. That's a single to me, but probably wouldn't be super smart in horizontals, to not add in Baeza. I
But
mean,
if you're confident, you can single. I mean, it allows you to spread other places, and you're singling a
that's true.
horse that's not going to be the favorite. So that's always mathematically, it's always a great formula to make a lot of money on a day if you're right and you single a horse that's not favored in a big day in the pools. I mean, you can get paid. So I mean, I love that strategy if you have conviction to do that. So
No, I really do. I mean, on the other end, though, to add even more value, I really had a hard time not putting Moplex in there on the ticket, but just really nice, intriguing value on the outside. 12-1 morning line, very consistent horse. 5 wins, a second and 2/3 from 9 starts. His only finish out of the money being last out finishing fourth in the grade 2 Jim Danny to Sovereignty Baeza. He wasn't really a part of it though. Yeah, he was fourth by five horses, but I think it's just a sleeper. He has 2 graded stakes wins: grade 3 Sanford, grade 3 Ohio Derby. Plus 2 listed stakes wins on top of that. The Funny Side Bayshore Stakes, 1 win at the mile and eighth distance. Bullet Work at Saratoga at September 13th, 4 furlongs and 48 flat. Best of 99 that day. I don't know, just something to maybe add underneath, but I'll single in Oscar.
yeah, my issue with Moplex was just the how hard would they have to send to make the lead, and what is going to
Yeah.
happen if they don't? Because if it stacks up and you're in the second prong of 3 or 4 wide, and I just feel like that you're just going to lose a lot of ground. I agree with the talent. I would have loved to have seen Moplex draw the 2 or the 3, where
Mm-hmm.
some of those other long shots that are going to go are, or maybe Magnitude spot just seems to be a little bit better as far as getting up there. But I mean, if Moplex shows that the horse can come from like the second flight, then I'd feel, but you never know until they have to. So the horse has just been first or second pretty much every race. So
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I can see him running a really nice effort for third and coming back next out against a little bit easier company and just dominating. Maybe find a little New York stake at Aqueduct in November when that opens.
mm-hmm.
B&Q maybe in October. But and Joe Ramos, I like Joe Ramos. Yeah, I think he's a young and upcoming kid. I think he's very talented. And you can see the one time he was on this horse, he won by 2 lengths in the Ohio Derby.
Yeah,
So,
that gives confidence.
but he is also very young. What is he, like 21, 22 years old. So there's that. I mean,
Yeah,
you're against against some pretty top jockeys here. So, well, anyway,
Absolutely, but they've these are the moments that you can make a name for yourself.
that's true. Like Jaime Torres last year, sees the gray. You
Yeah,
know, I mean, he more made that moment in the Pat Day Mile, but continue to find the winner's circle. But anyway, Scott, thank you so much. Love hearing all your thoughts on this, and good luck in all your wagers this weekend, everybody. And we'll see you next week.
absolutely. Yeah, good luck, everybody.